You sit around the screen. Your players have finally arrived, and it's time to kick off the session. The snacks are out, the dice are ready, and the story is about to unfold. Then, right on cue, that one guy to your left speaks up. Actually, that spell doesn't work that way. But you know what? That's when you hit him with the best part about DMing. That you don't have to know the rules. Someone disagrees with you, just say it's a homebrew rule and you have the final say. They're still arguing? Boom. Giant meteor falls from the sky and just kills their character. Just kidding. Don't actually do that. But you can if you really want to. I just want to know when was the killing of your players with Skyrocks or any of them could be deemed lazy or indicative. Furthermore, any player characters related to players being silly gooses contempt. But seriously, why should anyone take up the mantle of Dungeon Master? It's not the snacks, although they are nice to have. Friendship and laughter is good too, but that's not what I'm talking about here. No, it's the ability to have full control and power over everyone and everything at the table, weaving a tale that you want, without a care about anyone else. Wait, what? That's not what DMing is about? Oh, well, I have definitely been playing D&D wrong. Let's talk about that. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past 50 years, wait, 50? Really? That's actually unbelievable. Anyways, if you don't know what a DM does by now, or even what it stands for, you've clicked on the right video. Everyone say thank you to the YouTube algorithm. Do it. Anyways, DM can stand for a number of things. Dungeon Master, Dumb Meanie, Dumb Man, Donkey Muffler, whatever you want to call it, a DM is the head of the table, the narrator and path paver for all your wonderful adventures that you will have. They lay out the tracks for you to follow, even when you decide to crash headfirst into an orphanage. The Dungeon Master works tirelessly to make sure the characters you make fit into a world that they want, and that every minute detail of your 10-page backstory has a place in your collective story. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, that's a big part of the stigma behind DMing. To an outside eye, DMing sounds like a chore, a second or even third job that will have you up late at night or into the weekend, plotting and scheming up new and exciting hooks or NPCs to get your players engaged. And to some, that is what it is. And that scares people. I know it scared me when I first got into it. But I'm here to tell you that no matter what I, the internet, or your dad's best friend Chuck says, DMing is not scary. It's a way to test your creative limits and express yourself. Even put yourself out there. But where did this evil idea even come from? Well, this groupthink echo chamber says DMing is bad because you have to be all-knowing, all-powerful. You have to be ruthless and shut your players' creativity down. Right? You're apart from the group, a lone god watching over their creation. And I mean, the DM is all-powerful. I mean, after all, you're the one making the world or running the module. But actually, your players are shaping your story, not the other way around. Yes, you can railroad them or keep them on track, but when you do it too much, your players lose interest. So keep them on the plot. But if they take 18 detours, adapt. Maybe the bad guys' plans have already come to fruition because your players took too long haggling that shopkeep for their items. And we all really know that means threatening to burn down the shop. And now your players have to deal with the fallout. Forget about being ruthless. Focus on making sure you enjoy the game too. Being a DM isn't about constantly shutting down ideas or being the enforcer. It's about creating a fun, inclusive environment where everyone, including you, gets to be a part of the experience. Set boundaries, sure, but let your players get creative. DMs should know the rules, but have fun with it too. You don't need to be a rules lawyer or act like you've got the Dungeon Master's Guide downloaded into your brain. All you really need is page 4. Basically, keep in mind that, while sure, you may need to put in more work than your average player, it doesn't need all of your time and energy, and certainly don't let it weigh you down. And for the love of all that's holy, please don't turn DMing into a second job. Don't take time away from what's important to you, like family or sitting down to watch this YouTube video, over and over again. So yeah, the stigma's broken. Kind of. It's why you shouldn't believe anything on the internet. Except me. You can trust me and everything I say. Like that subscribing to our channel increases your dice luck exponentially, and everyone who's good looking is subscribed to our channel. So, what are you waiting for, you hunk? Now, there's this other thing out there, like a myth passed down from table to table, that if you take on the mantle of Dungeon Master once, you're cursed to be the forever DM. You'll never escape. You're trapped in a cycle where no one else will ever volunteer, and you'll never get to roll dice for your own character again. Trust me, I'm very understanding of this one. And to be honest, I went through it myself. I know, I'm human too. And yeah, it's kind of true in a growing hobby with so many new players. Most of them would rather play their swashbuckling rogue than design a dungeon or memorize monster stats. I know which one sounds more fun on paper, and it's easy to see why the idea of DMing feels like a one-way ticket to never having a player character again. But let's peel this back a little. The truth is, yes, there's a bit of gap between the number of players and DMs, especially with so many people jumping into D&D for the first time. I know that all I wanted to do when I was starting out was play an eco-terrorist druid hell-bent on destroying modern society, but the problem was that I was the only one looking to play, so I had to take up the mantle of DM instead. But here's where things get interesting. Running the game doesn't have to mean you're giving up your shot at playing. More often than not, the moment you break the ice as a DM, you'll inspire others at your table. Yes, I had to take that first step, start DMing and introduce them to this game I love, but once they see that DMing isn't some Herculean task requiring an encyclopedic knowledge of every rule and monster, if I was able to do it, quite frankly anyone can, they'll be more likely to give it a shot. It's almost like a pyramid scheme, but instead of blenders or knives, you're selling the chance to effectively be a god, minus powers and immortality and, well, actually, I think that was a bad analogy. Look, basically what I'm saying is, sure, you might DM a campaign or 2 or 3 or 4, but you're not chained to the DM's chair forever. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels confident enough to try DMing. So, no. Being a forever DM isn't your destiny, unless you like having that power, in which case, hey, own it. I know I find myself missing the DM lifestyle, but if the idea of forever DMing makes you want to throw your dice in a fire, just know that communication is key. Talk to your group, rotate campaigns, take breaks. Hell, suggest a one-shot where someone else can step up as DM. Give them practice, let them see it's really not so bad. Then make them the forever DM. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, you're not trapped. Unless you've read all 472 pages of the DM's guide. I've got nothing for you then. I'm pretty sure that's like a binding legal contract. Now, earlier you probably heard me mention that there's a ton of new players coming into the hobby, and that is genuinely amazing. It's so good to have new generations coming in and enjoying this hobby. I mean, hell, I'm from one of the newer generations of D&D players, and I've been playing for 7 or 8 years now. But with this influx of new players, we also get this problem that has reared its beautiful, long, flowing hair and constant vest. That's right, it's time to talk about the big shows. Let me start by saying that I love shows like Critical Role and Dimension 20. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that that's some of the best Dungeons & Dragons I've ever had the honor to witness was EXU's Calamity. Incredible storytelling, compelling characters, beautiful music, lighting, painted minis, the whole 9 yards. It was truly one of the greatest feats of storytelling I have ever seen, and I tip my metaphorical hat to you, Mr. Lee Mulligan. But these shows are exactly that. Shows. They have budgets, professional voice actors, professional DMs, the whole kit and caboodle. But what does that have to do with new players? Well, my naive adventurers, let me introduce you to something called the Mercer Effect. Yes, named after that beautiful specimen of a man with flowing brown locks, that tight vest, and shimmering blue eyes that I find myself getting lost in. Sorry, but yes, Matthew Mercer has his own effect. Or, because it's named after him, he didn't invent the effect, he's just suffering from his own success. The Mercer Effect is a phenomena that a lot of experienced DMs and players are experiencing with this wave of new players. People expect to come in and have your home game run in your dingy basement to have the same production as the $1 million moneymaker that is Critical Role. Maybe. Okay, I mean, yes, there are probably some people out there who think like that, but for the most part, it's often in new Dungeon Masters' heads. That negative voice gnawing away at you, telling you that you're never going to be good as Matt or Brennan. And to that I say, so what? It doesn't matter, because that's not what your table needs. They want to play with you. You're the person making the world the characters are in. You are the friend that sets up wacky scenarios and gives them the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in games. Your players chose to play with you. Don't forget that. And if for some reason they would rather play with Matt Mercer, I welcome them to go and join Critical Role. I hope they have been a professional voice actor for years and also in his personal circle of friends. They better be ready to always be performing. Speaking of performing, that's something else I want to talk about on this topic. That streams that you watch are shows. Remember? I mentioned this earlier. Take Tears of Rormar, for example. Natural One's very own campaign. I bring this up because we literally make nothing and still shouldn't be something directly compared to. And not because I want to plug the stream or anything, which happens at the end of each month, by the way, but yes, we make $0 and 0 cents. If only we had enough subscribers to be monetized. We still have a higher production value than your typical home game. We have rules and regulations that your normal home campaign wouldn't have. We try to minimize outside distractions like phones, other pets, or people. Stuff you can't always avoid in your home games. Now, I'm not saying that home games are crazy, lawless free-for-alls. You should absolutely have rules in your games, especially regarding your players' behavior, engagement, and character/world rules. But it's not a high-value production either. You're doing this for fun and for the people around you. Speaking of which, let's talk about the looming threat that is the problem player. Yes, the 3 words DMs fret about constantly.
But what is the problem player, Mr. Natural One Narrator?
If you stop talking for 1 second, I'll tell you. I'm the one talking here. It's my video. Done? Good. As I was saying, a problem player doesn't take one form, but is a ball of clay, ready to be shaped into whatever exactly your table doesn't need. Let's go over some key examples. There's the overly powerful homebrew guy who insists that D&D Wiki is the end-all, be-all. Why, yes, Abyssal Dragon Lord is extremely overpowered, and I don't seem to see that in any available rulebook. Then there's the power gamers, who in my opinion aren't actually problem players, but that's another point. Anyways, power gamers min-max the hell out of their characters, optimizing for the perfect build for the perfect party. Maybe your party wants to be full of Warlock Artificer multiclasses who don't actually take any damaging spells. Then your Coffee Lock or Sorkadin will feel out of place, and may even take the spotlight from your other players. One I see less frequently, but can still cause problems like the power gamer, are Isekai, characters that are teleported from one reality to your current campaign. Yeah, it's fun for a Norse mythology campaign, but Loki isn't the match for every world. Who would even base their entire channel around porting characters from pop culture into D&D? Then you've got 2 sides of the same coin, the rule breaker and the rules lawyer, both equally as annoying, but their names imply exactly what they do. Rule breaker doesn't listen to the DM say no explicit romance and wants to lean too heavily into the horny bard trope. The rules lawyer doesn't understand the phrase DM has the final say and swears page 176 of the player's handbook says dash is a bonus action. These all boil over into different toxic or problem players who can cause DMs so much pain and maybe some hair loss. So, how do we deal with these problems, you ask? How am I supposed to express what needs to happen at the table before I start playing? Well, have I got a solution for you? Session Zero isn't just some way to introduce new characters to the world, but your players to the table. You can start by discussing campaign themes and setting boundaries. Clarify if you want to avoid explicit romance or if homebrew rules will be kept to a minimum. This way, everyone knows what's acceptable before the dice start rolling. Encourage players to pitch their character concepts early on, emphasizing their backstories should integrate smoothly with the campaign world. If someone has their heart set on an Isekai character, gently steer them toward a concept that fits your setting to avoid future classes. Establish a clear system for handling disputes. Perhaps create a house rule card that players can use to suggest changes or ask questions during sessions without derailing the game. You might even introduce a Session Zero agreement, where everyone signs off on the ground rules and acknowledges the importance of cooperation and respect. Remind your players that while they're encouraged to have fun and be creative, the game is a shared experience, and everyone's enjoyment matters. Basically, communicate upfront with your players, and the game will be better for everyone, and that includes you. And when you're feeling stressed or worried about what you're going to do, remember that you're not alone. Hell, it's not just home games that have these problems, players. Like social media, not everything at Critical Role or Dimension 20 is Nat 20s and Sam Riegel ad reads. They face their own scrutiny and even their own problem player. So if Critical Role, this professional setting with professional players and a DM has these problems, certainly they're unavoidable, but actually they are. In fact, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. You see, Critical Role did this fun little thing called communicating. Remember this magic word I mentioned earlier? And it's not like it was a perfect ending, and even though they were friends, they decided their views, their beliefs, and ultimately their playstyles didn't mesh, and they removed the problem player. That's what I meant by all-powerful. Yes, you know the rules and run the world, but you are the one in charge. If 95% of your table, including yourself, is uncomfortable with the other 5%, fix it. The game is supposed to be enjoyable for everyone, so make it that way. Don't go power hungry, don't abuse your power, but you have it for a reason. So use it if you need to. And if your players don't all agree, drop a dragon in front of them and go to town. No, wait, actually don't do that. Oh, so you think that was the only problem with DMing? No, my sweet summer child. You still have so much more to learn. So follow me as we head into the worst part of DMing. Money issues. Okay, that was a bit dramatic, but it's true. DMs are expected to fund the minis, the source books, the subscription services, even the gas money for players. Okay, that was a stretch, but you get the idea. Players are expected to show up to your house nonetheless, with their character sheets, if they even bring that, and sit down and be pampered. Then, when it's all said and done, they leave, and you're left to clean up the literal and metaphorical crumbs of your wild tales. Now, put your pitchforks down. I'm not saying all players, I'm saying some players. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is that the expectation is that the DM will provide a world of adventure and fun, but it often comes at a financial cost that's not always acknowledged. I mean, really, how often are you DMs hearing a thank you, or a good job, or even a wow, we're not dead? That's cool. You do all this planning, all this hosting, all this communicating, and you can't even get a thank you for showing restraint from preventing that long-awaited TPK yet again. I face so much imposter syndrome telling me that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not giving the players that I care about the kind of game I wish I could give them. And while there isn't much to say for a fix about this one beyond the refrain of this video, which is communication, I have something that I think will help. Send your players this video. I have a message for them. DMs, cover your ears. Hello, players. You were wondering why you received this video, weren't you? You're watching this and you're feeling kind of guilty because you haven't thanked your DM in a hot minute. Maybe you think you're a bad player. Well, you probably are. Unless, of course, you want to fix that. So, here. Have a sample thank you note, because I know you wouldn't write one yourself. And if you're feeling extra thankful, maybe you should get your DM a gift. If only a certain channel had a convenient shop linked in the description of the video. Whoa, what was that? I think I was possessed for a hot minute. Sorry, let's get back to the video and talk about another point I touched on earlier. DMs, you can open your ears now. I'm talking about you again. And it's about DMs saying no. Well, I guess a better way to put it is the struggle many face to do so. It's not common practice for a DM to say no. I mean, come on. You've seen the Reddit posts. The constant, my player wants to play this crazy overpowered build at level 1, or the, my players think they know the rules better than me, or even the, my players are showing up at my house threatening me and my family, and the only way I can say anything about it is through a thinly veiled joke in my YouTube channel. Okay, that last one is a stretch, but you get the idea. A common problem that I often see is when DMs are playing with their friends, which is by far and away the most prevalent way to play the game, DMs are scared to tell those friends no. 2 simple letters that they cannot muster, even though they can brilliantly deliver that villain monologue if their players are feeling gracious. But it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. When this game is played between friends, saying no can be a daunting task. They come to you as a trusted ally and a friend, and it's easy to believe saying no can break that trust or make them mad or whatever twisted things you could imagine your friends to do. And I've had to say my fair share of no's, trust me. I understand that fear. But hey, let me give you some advice. Probably the most important advice I can give you as a former DM. Current player and DM advocate. Communicate. 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 It is literally the most important thing you can do in D&D and real life. Talk to your players. Listen when they want to talk to you. Make sure everyone's comfortable, having a good time, enjoying themselves. They're your friends, remember? The people you trust. And if you can't talk to them, then who can you talk to? So talk to them, and I promise your life will get better, both in D&D and real life. Not that I'm qualified to give you life advice, I'm just a low-level YouTuber. But one other piece of advice I can give you, burnout is real. Accept it. I mean, hey, it took me 6 months to write this essay. DMs probably feel a lot more than they let on. I mentioned that this is a thankless position, but it's way more than that. Between the out-of-game prep to make your sessions unforgettable, the in-game corralling of players that is more akin to herding cats, and your regular life as well, it can pile on fast. So make sure you pace yourself, take care of yourself, and encourage breaks. You've got the expectations of keeping your players engaged, fitting them into your story, writing your own world or homebrew pre-existing modules, and probably working your 9-to-5 office job. So remember, this isn't a job. It's a game. So have fun, unwind, and share time with your friends. Enjoy this game that you all love, and please, 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 please comment something nice so I can know that my 6-month procrastination was worth it. I need this. Now, obviously, these are just generalizations. This isn't cookie cutter. Everyone is unique, every situation is unique, and every table has their quirks. So yeah, enforce your rules, play your playstyle, say yes or no to whatever you want, but most importantly, have fun. You can spend $1 billion or zero. You can have the really fancy RGB lights or the overhead kitchen light. You can have music magically playing in your players' heads or out of a speaker in the middle of the table, or even not at all. Not everything is a production. I mean, I started out with no dice, no music, no minis, a half-filled out character sheet, and a group of my best friends. That's all you really need to successfully DM. So, players, don't come in with these high expectations of Critical Role or Dimension 20. DMs, they probably just listen to us here, so don't stress about that either. Enter your game space with the expectations to have fun and spend quality time with quality people. And players, say thank you to your DM every once in a while. Now, DMs, you're not off the hook either. Let your players have fun. Don't come in with a laundry list of what's acceptable and what isn't. Don't be overbearing. Let your players have goofy, oh shoot, the shopkeep I've been flirting with is married moments while reining in those too far moments. And please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. Please communicate with each other. I cannot have my Reddit feed constantly filled with D&D, am I the assholes, or is my DM overstepping? Please just talk to each other. New players, remember, DMing can actually be fun, even hard to let go once you get the reins. So give it a try. Fortune favors the bold, so be bolder. Put your best foot forward and get out of your comfort zone. D&D is a collaborative game, and you're supposed to be playing with people you can trust. What's the worst that can happen? Your friends point and laugh at you for misunderstanding a rule or having an NPC named Janussi? At the end of the day, you're friends. Laugh with each other. Cry in the sad moments. And remember, this is just a game. Whatever happens at the table can be rectified, and nothing, hopefully, is personal. So yeah, you can throw those preconceived notions about DMing in the trash and give it a try. You might just have fun. Plus, Lord knows your DM is tired of this and needs a break. If you've been convinced to give DMing a try, great! That was like the whole point of this video. But I hear you're still worried about starting your game off with a bang. Well, have I got some good news for you. Check out this video. Make your Dungeons & Dragons game unforgettable, and you too can be just like Matthew Mercer. This video will not make you like Matthew Mercer. He is professional with professional players. It will be simply unrealistic to ever believe that you silly viewer. Why would you have to be so foolish to think that? Did you even watch the essay? Clearly we're doing hyperbole. Don't even come after me in the comments. It was so clearly obvious. I can't believe you even thought that you'd be like Matthew Mercer. I mean, he has like $1 bajillion at his disposal. Get a grip. Please subscribe so I can be just like Matthew Mercer.